Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda and this is Confidence Mindset with Amanda. And in this video, I want to talk a little bit about conflicting intentions. So I got this idea from The Seed of the Soul by Gary Zukav. If anyone has read this book, you will know that it is all about diving deep into embracing your authentic self and your spiritual being. So the reason why I wanted to bring it up was because it stood out to me in a way that when we are consciously manifesting, so we're keeping our thoughts on what it is that we want, we can be doing this in a way that is unconsciously creating blocks as well too. So what do I mean by this? So let's say, for example, you are consciously keeping your thoughts on a specific affirmation that you want to manifest in your life. If we are doing this, I know that robotic affirming can be a way to manifest exactly what you want into your life, and while keeping your thoughts on one affirmation and things like that are very effective to rewiring the brain, sometimes it can cause a little bit of unconscious blocks because we are keeping our thought on this affirmation over and over and over again, and we're burning ourselves out with it a little bit, we are raising a little bit of resistance within. Now, I'm not saying that this is for everyone, but it can be with some. And this is unconsciously, paradoxically, causing the block of why the desire has not manifested. Because when we are keeping our thoughts on something that we want to manifest and we're doing it in a way that is forceful, in a way that is actually causing us resistance within, this is where we're placing conditions then onto our affirmations. And when we start to place conditional reasoning onto our affirmations, we are not finding the fulfillment, and we're not telling our unconscious and our subconscious mind about the fulfillment of the desire, the excitement of the desire, the love that we have for the desire. And paradoxically then, as I say, then we're creating this anxious kind of block within us that is causing us to have a little bit of a halt on what it is that we are manifesting. Because remember, there's no mistakes to manifesting, and when we find ourselves a little bit stuck, it's only a realization to go another way into manifesting and materializing what it is that we want to experience. So I'm going to use an example in the book of that Gary Zukav had talked about in wanting to improve a marriage. So he talked about an example of, if you have the desire to want to improve your marriage and you have this conscious desire to do everything to improve your marriage, but unconsciously you're going into this conscious way of being with the belief that it's going to end anyway. And so he talks about, if you have conflicting intentions, you will be torn because both dynamics will be set in motion and oppose each other, which means that if one dynamic is set to each other, but they're not, let's say there's one that is more prevalent within, that'll be the one then that will manifest. So even if you are consciously doing things to improve your marriage and keeping your thoughts on improving your marriage, if you don't identify an unconscious belief within that you actually think that it's going to end anyway, no matter what you do, that'll be the actual, its strongest one that will manifest. Because I know that maybe some people might disagree with this, but when we are manifesting for particular things in our life, we're doing it because we want to experience a particular feeling. So if we go into consciously manifesting with unlimited beliefs that we're not identifying, it doesn't matter how much we start to tell ourselves that keeping our thoughts on what it is that we want, that actual belief, that strong belief that is unconscious to us, will start to come up more because they will be conflicting with each other. Now, this is where repetition comes in, and this is why we are doing repetition, because we are overriding it. But I want to bring up the topic of robotic affirming. So when we are overriding things through robotic affirming, we do sometimes find a little bit of resistance. And this is where the unconscious desire then, let's say for example, the unconscious realization of this marriage going to end anyway, no matter what I do, this will be the resistance then that will come up. Now, in these moments, from my own interpretation, I would drop the topic for a while and I would go on to something else. Because when we drop the topic for a while, we are allowing ourselves to breathe, you could say, from the resistance. And as we do that, then we come back with a clearer mind on what it is that we want. And sometimes when we do this as well, we start to identify the block and we start to realize, well, hang on, I'm actually having a belief about this actually ending no matter what I do. So maybe I should work on that belief instead of consciously keeping my thoughts on this is working, this is working, this is working. Let me have a wee look at this belief of why I am thinking that it's going to end. And so as I do that, then I'm opening a portal, you could say, because that is where the actual unconscious belief is that is causing you to feel a little resistance when you keep your conscious thoughts on affirmations that are just implying that it is working, if that makes sense. So this is where coaching does come in handy, actually, when I think of it, because the coach is coming from a outside perspective. And I know from my own experience, if I was helping somebody out or guiding someone along the way, I would ask questions from every area of their life so that you can identify patterns, ways of being that this person is actually thinking. And so sometimes you don't know yourself the pattern ways of thinking. And so an outside source is great for that, because they're able to come from a mind that is not attached, a mind that is not emotions. There is nothing to deter their perception on things, because they have a clearer mind, and that's how they're able to identify your unconscious blocks and things like that. So with that being said, I'll just continue with this example. So he talks about then, the dynamics, as I said, would be set in motion and oppose each other. So he says, if you are not aware of all your intentions, the strongest one would win. So that's what we're talking about. If you're not aware of the unconscious belief within, the strongest one will win. So if you are consciously telling yourself one thing, and I know that when we are consciously doing this, we are overriding a lot of the old limiting beliefs. However, it does sometimes, and I'm talking from my own experience here, when I was, and even still, when I want to dive deeper into finding why I'm stuck on a manifestation, why it hasn't manifested yet, I will dive deeper into how I am feeling, what resistance, and I will stop affirming for that desire as well too, because I want to find the actual root of why it hasn't manifested yet, if that makes sense. So I will actually dive deeper into that rather than keeping my thoughts on the actual desire or what it is that I want, until I find a clearer kind of feeling within. Because I know that we don't manifest from feelings, because we manifest, our thought is the energy, our thought is the electric current, you could say, that directs our feelings and emotions. And so when I for example, if I'm manifesting on something and I feel like I'm a little bit stuck, that I think that it should be here by now, I will stop, because I know that I'm feeling in that moment, my thoughts are going in that direction, which is causing a feeling to vibrate within me that I'm not either believing in myself, or there's resistance or something. So I stop on the actual manifesting of the desire. I either go on to something else, or I dive deeper into, is there anything else that I need to identify? And this is okay to do along your journey of manifesting, because you are always going to get what you want, and it's okay to not affirm for it one day or another day, if you're always going to come back to it with a clearer mind and more motivated and more confident in your way of being. Because the crux of it all is the confidence in knowing that you can manifest. It's not even about believing in your affirmations or anything like that, because I have so many affirmations myself that I don't believe in, but I always tell myself in it, because I know that the more I do that, it goes into my subconscious mind, and then the experiences do manifest from it. But I may not believe in the actual affirmation, but you just have to believe in the process, in the actual manifesting process itself, to know that everything is working in your favor, to know that as you do these things, you are going to experience what it is that you want down the line. So he goes on to say then that if the unconscious, so you may, you may have a conscious intention to improve your marriage and simultaneously an unconscious intention to end it. If the unconscious intention to end your marriage is stronger than the conscious intention to improve it, the dynamic of restlessness, lack of fulfillment, etc., eventually will overcome the conscious intention to become loving and harmonious within your marriage. In the end, your marriage will terminate. So what, from my own interpretation, what he is saying here is, if that happens, if the stronger intention is the unconscious intention, you're going to be looking outside into your 3D and you're going to be noticing the lack more. And so then paradoxically, then it'll end because you are focusing more on lack and your restlessness, and you're not focusing on the fulfillment of what it means to have a harmonious, loving marriage. So I just wanted to bring that topic up in a way that would help you identify limiting beliefs and unconscious ways of thinking. Remember, your unconscious is in your favor, so you have to be looking for fulfillment and desire and doing things that actually cause excitement within you, and then keep your thoughts on what it is that you want. Because remember, the reason why you're doing it all is to experience fulfillment, love, happiness, abundance, and all of the greatness of life. And so if you can find ways of doing this as you are consciously keeping your thoughts on what it is that you want, that'd be the way then that it kind of unfolds in your reality. So thank you so much for listening, and I will chat to you soon.